Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. So I've gotten a few requests to do this video, which is a kind of a beginner's to-do list to the Japanese version of Monster Strike. And then we're in version 10.2 right now, so that's what this will be. What this is not is a video where I explain how to navigate these menus, or where I translate all of the menus or the abilities of the monsters, or how all of the items work. There are other resources for that online. I'll try to put some links to those in the notes. This is a video about what to do early in the game, so that you can make the best use, the most efficient use of your time and resources beginning the game. And this will really speed up your progress through the game. I played the English version before, and I, learned how the game works through there. So when I came over to the JP version, I already knew exactly what to do. So I was able to progress very, very quickly, even like through the first month, through the first 100 days. So yeah, I'll share what I've learned from all that. Okay, step one is to watch the anime of Monster Strike. And I'll put links to this as well in the notes, but the game came first, and then the anime came out of that. Partly because, the game is so successful that they could afford to, create an anime for it. There are 2 seasons, I believe. Season 1 is super long, it's like 50 episodes. Every episode's like 7-8 minutes, so it's not that bad. It's less necessary, I would say, than the second season. You could watch just the second season and get a good idea of like the world and the main characters and the, kind of the most popular monsters and bosses and things. But yeah, if you wanted to watch the first season, there's lots of good stuff in there. And then the next step, which is optional, is to do the reset marathon. That is where you install and uninstall the game over and over until you pull a monster that you want from your first hatch. And then the way that you do your first hatch is you beat the tutorial. It gives you some orbs, and then you can use that orbs to do a single pull in a hatcher. And what I recommend you get a 5-star monster, of course, because those are the best monsters in the game. And then depending on which monster you get, it will kind of guide where you go in the game, like which quests you play, which characters you unlock first. The monsters that I recommend are transcendent monsters. And then what transcendent monsters are. So here's a monster. We can click on any of those, or tap on any of those. And then we hit this icon up here on the right. This is like their kind of encyclopedia information. And then we want to look for a character with 3 tiers. If it has a 3rd tier, that means it's a transcendent monster. And then transcendent monsters are better because they have stronger bump combos overall. And then they have more slots for additional abilities called ABLEBERRYs, and kind of strike shots, their ultimate attacks, which charge up more quickly. So I would get one of those, and then I would aim for a transcendent monster that is not limited. I say that because non-limited monsters are easier to get than limited, because non-limited are in most hatchers, so you can pull them anytime. You don't need to wait for a specific time or hatcher to start. And then, a lot of the limited monsters are too good. Their bump combos in particular are very strong, so they kind of act like a crutch. Like there's a character called Pandora, and then she has a bump combo where she fires, bullets at her teammate that hits her. And so one technique that's very popular is to get a Pierce monster, which can go through anything. And then just hit Pandora and then, move around the stage, and then Pandora will just shoot those bullets at everybody. And it's very powerful, it's very easy to use. I do not recommend that because you will not learn the game as well if you do that technique, as opposed to more standard technique. And then most of these non-limited transcendent monsters are not so powerful that they're like crutches. So that's why I would go for one of these. And then specifically the characters that I would stay away from, there are mostly the New Year's characters in the Legends Hatcher. So that's like Pandora, Gabriel, Mana and Lucifer. Maybe stay away from those. And then also Loki, Mozart, who else? Undine, and Ganesha. They all have super strong bump combos that you can just use as a crutch, so I don't recommend those. If you do get them though, keep them because they're super powerful. But if you wanted to play in a way which would enable you to become better in the game, better at the game more quickly, then I would say stay away from those. Okay, next step for beginners, and this is not going to be available to everybody, so I apologize for this. But that is to join the MONPASS system. And then this is a kind of like a subscription where you pay like $5 a month, and then you get access to this. If you do not have a Japanese credit card or a access to Japanese iTunes or Google Play cards, this is not going to be an option for you. But if you can get this, then do. There are lots of nice benefits. You can get like a free stamina refill once a day. I use that all the time. You can get a free Transcendent Ascension once a month, and that's really nice. That saves you a lot of materials. You can get into the X-Flag store without an appointment. I found that out the other day, and that was very nice. And then every 3 months you get a free 5-star monster, so lots of benefits here. But of course, if you do not want to do it, that's what the majority of players are doing it. They don't have it, it's not necessary at all. Just some nice perks. Okay, and then moving actually into gameplay, we'll go here to the center quests. We'll hit normal here. This is this icon where we see a bunch of weak monsters. We want to go through and we want to clear all of these normal quests. There are a lot, so it will take a little bit. But if you beat all of these, you will get lots of materials. You'll get some orbs, which is the kind of the premium currency. You will get some characters. They'll just give you some, free characters. And then you will get a lot of experience, and so you'll raise your rank. And then the higher your rank, the more stamina you will have, so the more you can play. And then you will also get like more team slots and more plays in the library, which is kind of like a special like side quest thing. So yeah, you want to clear all the normal stages, and then I'll show you the monsters that you get. One of those is JIRAIYA here, one of the best drop monsters in the game, probably. And another one is Soul Wing here. Not one of the best monsters, but solid. Really good for beginners. Another one here is Lilith, and she's one of the better water monsters, one of the free water monsters. And then this character is different from the others. This is a Sanctuary Dragon, and then he is different because he comes with this green flashing icon right out of the box. And then what that value is luck. And then when you use a monster that has max luck in the first slot of your team, you will get extra rewards at the end of a quest. And then you want to do this as much as possible so you get more materials, more rewards. And then the way that you make a max luck usually is to collect 99 drops of a monster, the same monster, and you fuse them all together. And then that makes a max luck monster. And so to make a max luck monster, you want to use a max luck monster. And so the more max luck monsters you make, the more max luck monsters you can make in the future. It's kind of like a never-ending cycle. But eventually you come to a place where you have kind of max luck monsters available for any situation. There are lots of gimmicks or like elements and things. So to have lots of max luck monsters for those can be good. It can help you, speed through the game a little bit more. Okay, another thing I recommend for not only beginners, but for everybody, is to expand the size of your box. If we look at my box here, I have 600 spaces, and then they're filled by 571 monsters. So I'm getting close to full. The way that you can expand your box is to hit this third button down here, Shop. And then we'll go to the third menu down here. And then this is where you spend orbs to make your box bigger. And yeah, anytime you get like a big bunch of orbs, you want to spend a little bit on it to expand your box. If you ever reach a point where there's too many characters in your box, the game will let you know, and then it won't let you go to quests until you work on that. So that's important to keep in mind. Okay, so I've been talking about orbs a lot. That's these rainbow-looking things up here. I have 37 right now. And then the main thing that you want to save and then use your orbs for will be to pull these hatchers, so that you can get 5-star monsters, the best monsters in the game. And then there are a bunch of hatchers that cycle throughout the month, always changing. There are 2 that I recommend more than any, especially for beginners. If we go up here, this is like the menu of hatchers that can come around. The top tier here, this is the Chol Jushinsai. This usually comes the 1st of every month. And then the next one down, the Geki Jushinsai. This appears about the 14th or 15th every month. They have limited characters in there that are very, very powerful. But more importantly, they're good for a variety of quests. A lot of the monsters that appear during just like standard quests that happen anytime during the month, they're more sort of pinpoint monsters. They're really, really good for like 1 or 2 like high-level quests. But the ones in here, the Chol Jushinsai or the Geki Jushinsai, they're very versatile, so you can use them in lots of different places. And for beginning players, they can be very, very useful. So yeah, wait until the beginning of the month or the middle of the month and then pull those and hopefully get some limited monsters. Okay, next up I will talk about this here, this little glowing yellow orb here on the left. This is the MONTAMA, and then you can pull the MONTAMA to get a guaranteed 5-star monster. But before you can do that, you have to play through the game, build up points, and then based on how many points you've collected, you can pull different tiers of the monster selection, and of course, if you get to the highest tier, you have access to the best monsters. And so if I collect 3,000 points, I have a chance at Oda Nobunaga X. I'm not guaranteed to pull her. She's only added to the pool, so I gain the possibility of pulling her. Level 4, Robin Hood is added, and then level 5, Kakutsuchi is added. And then we can get these sort of bonus items on the side as well. For beginning players, I recommend level 2 here. It only takes a few days to get there, and I think when you're first starting out, it's more important to get monsters quickly rather than have a chance at more powerful monsters. Okay, now I want to talk about experience points, and then every mission that you beat, you get experience points, but there is an item which you can get, which will raise the amount of experience that you get. And then if we look here, this is my Ibaraki Doji. We go to the next screen, I can see my Ableberries slots. And then what Ableberries are, like items that you give to monsters, and then they can use new abilities. And then the ability that Ibaraki Doji has here, it's called Manabi no Chikara. I'll put it in Japanese up here. This is the Genius Ableberry in English. And what that does, it gives me 60% bonus to all experience that I get. This is very, very important, especially early in the game. You want to bring your genius character to as many quests as you can, most specifically the normal quests, so you can get big experience boosts and then raise your rank higher. And again, if you raise your rank, you get more stamina, more team slots, more plays in the library. So yeah, try to get that Genius Ableberry as soon as possible. And the way you get that is to go through here. This is the temple, the Hero's Temple. And then we play these missions, and then at the end of the mission, we'll get like silver or gold, like nut-looking things. And inside the nut-looking things are the Ableberries. And then we can put the Ableberries on the character that is in the first slot of our team. So yeah, you want to aim for the gold nuts, of course, but they're very rare, so you might have to play many times. And of course, if you're aiming for the Genius Ableberry, you might have to play many, 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 many times in order to get that on the monster that you want. But it is worth it. And then kind of looking at it overall, the Genius Ableberry is the only Ableberry that's very necessary. All of the others you can forget about. None of them are necessary to beat a quest. Just the Genius Ableberry helps you, advance more quickly through the game. Okay, and then also, as you clear quests, you will get medals. And then if we go down here to the monster menu, we go to the third menu down, we can trade in those medals for items or monsters if we hit this right menu thing. And then the first thing that we want to get when we get medals is to get one of Blueberry here. And she's decently powerful. She has some unusual abilities, and then I still use her here for a couple high-level quests, so she's worth getting. She costs 20,000, which might take a few days to save up, but it is worth it. Okay, and then next up, I talked earlier about Max Lux. Sanctuary Dragon, he has that flashing green symbol, means he is a Max Luck monster. We want to make 5 monsters Max Luck. So Sanctuary Dragon, he counts as 1. And then, yeah, again, the way we make a Max Luck monster is to fuse 99 copies of them together, and then they'll get that green flashing symbol. Once we get 5 Max Lucks, we can unlock a couple things. One, here is the Max Luck bonus list. If we get 5 here, we unlock a drop of Light Murasame. And she's pretty strong, a little bit outdated, but still solid. Where is she? Oh, last one, okay. Yeah, so that's her. Unfortunately, when you get her, she will be the pre-evolution form. And it takes kind of a lot of work and a lot of materials to make the Ascension form. So, after you get Light Murasame, I recommend that you use... I recommend that you use this item on her. This is an Insta-Ascension item, and they give this out maybe once a month, sometimes more often. But keep an eye out for that. And then once you get Light Murasame, use this on her, and then she'll just immediately jump to her Ascension form. And then you'll have a very strong monster just right there. And then another thing that you get for creating 5 Max Lucks is access to the Colossal quests, which are the highest difficulty quests in the game. It will be a little while before you can really take those on, but it's good to have that, available for whenever. Okay, and then the last 2 goals, I guess, for beginning players. The first one is to just play a lot. And then when you play a lot, you'll get used to the game, like how it works, techniques, strategies, that sort of thing. And then I recommend using free monsters or drop monsters as much as possible, because they're not that powerful, and so you will learn the game better by using them rather than a super overpowered character. And then there are some techniques and some things that you want to master as you start out in the game. One of them is to really kind of think about the differences between bounce and pierce monsters and how to use them differently. Other things you want to really master as a beginner is the gauge shot. It will fill up, real quick as you play the missions. You want to try to hit that, most of the time. I still have problems with that, so don't worry if you don't get it. You want to take advantage of weak points, which are on bosses and sometimes enemies. And then, like when to use the strike shot. The timing can be tricky. They take a certain amount of turns to charge up, and then you don't want to use it too early. You certainly don't want to use it too late. So, mess around with that, see what works for you. Bump combos can be very alluring. They're very easy. You don't need to aim for any enemies, you just aim for your teammates and you get additional attacks out. But in many cases, direct attacks from your monsters are going to do more damage than bump combos. So you can kind of learn like when it would be better to use bump combos, when it would be better to use direct attacks. But that will come with experience. So yeah, just keep playing and then have fun with the game, of course. And yeah, you'll get better and better before you know it. Alrighty, so I think that was it for my beginner's to-do list. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And then, yeah, there will be some links to other helpful stuff in the notes. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.